Bears at Colts. Speaking of the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams, didn't even do that on purpose. What is your matchup that matters here in this one, Carmen?
Yeah, it goes back to the Bears offensive line. And we saw so many miscommunications last week against the Texans. And I mean, again, that's to be expected with a DeMeco Ryans defense like that. They do so many different things up front. It's hard. Also, the Bears are placing so much responsibility, pre-snap responsibility on Caleb Williams. And in his second game in the league, I think it's too much. Clearly, the offensive line was not on the same page in so many different aspects. I mean, specifically, there were times where, again, those exotic fronts that DeMeco Ryans likes to run, especially on third down. Usually, offensive lines have a set plan, and they stick with that plan the entire game. If it doesn't work out, and there's a guy that goes unblocked, then it's up to the quarterback to know where his hot routes are, how to get the ball out quickly, all that kind of stuff. But there was no consistency whatsoever in what the Bears offensive line plan was against stuff like that. That's just one example of just the myriad miscommunications that happened. That can't keep happening. This is the unit that's supposed to have the most continuity on the Bears offense this season. And it's going against this Indianapolis D-line who is not going to have DeForest Buckner. You're going to have an opportunity there to kind of get right, not only in pass blocking, which the Bears are 21st in pass blocking grade. They're eighth highest pressure percentage allowed. So Caleb Williams is under pressure. We saw 36 pressures against the Texans that he had to face. That's not helping anybody, but also in the run game, because Caleb Williams needs to be helped out by the rest of this offense. He is a rookie. You need to make things easier on him. You can do that by running the ball. And I'm not just talking about handoffs either. Get DeAndre Swift in space. DeAndre Swift is not a bowling ball of a running back. He is a guy that you need to get him in space, and then he can go between the tackles and do really fun things after contact. But I don't want to just, a power run game with DeAndre Swift doesn't make sense to me. Throw it to him in the flat, throw it to him just right at the line of scrimmage, get him out into space. The good news is too, for the Chicago Bears, is the Colts average depth of tackle versus the run is the seventh highest of any team. So they are allowing 4.84 yards before they even get to these guys. Do that 2-3 times and you're going to get a first down. It's not going to be sexy, but it's going to keep you on the field, and it's going to open up some things on this Bears offense. So it all runs through this offensive line is what I'm trying to say against this Indianapolis D line, which is going to be hurting without DeForest Buckner. So
I think that's a great primer. Like they've got to play better than they have before. And you're right, with Buckner out of this lineup, it feels like this is a good week to get right. And I think that's going to be a major part of who ends up winning this game. Another major part of who wins this game is you got Anthony Richardson, you got Caleb Williams, two of the most talented quarterbacks that we have in the league, but two players who are green on experience. I know that, it's the first year for Caleb Williams. He's only 2 games into his NFL career. We only got, 4 games out of Anthony Richardson last year, now 2 this year. So it's not like he's played a lot more ball, despite being a year ahead of him with his draft class. 5 turnover-worthy plays for each of these quarterbacks. That's tied for second worst in the NFL. So to me, it simply comes down to who can kind of protect the football more, but also who can get that help from other players around their offense. Now, I would lean Jonathan Taylor in that regard, right? I mean, in week 1, we saw the Colts offensive line be just road graders. Those guys, Will Fries, Quentin Nelson, both of those players, elite above 90 run blocking grades for that game. You know that Jonathan Taylor can be great. And so I sit here, and if I'm going to tell myself, hey, in a world where both of these quarterbacks don't turn the ball over as much as they have been through the first 2 weeks, I think I would give the edge to the Indianapolis Colts offense to do more with certainly the backfield and the running backs and making things a little bit easier. But maybe it is more than that. It's not just necessarily who's going to run the ball better, because it could also come down to, hey, which quarterback takes care of the football, but also which one kind of is able to still then push the ball down the field, because that could also be an X factor in this game. So to me, the matchup that matters is simply quarterback versus quarterback. And maybe the matchup that matters is just Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson versus the voice in their head that tells them just to
the Green Goblin mask. Throw it.
Coward.
Do it. Do it.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about here. And so whoever can kind of quell that voice more, but still be able to make the plays that they need to for their team, I think is going to go a long way. So that's going to be a major point of emphasis for both these teams. What about you, plus factor?
Yeah, I mean, it goes along with my matchup that matters, but it's DeAndre Swift because if you also watch Caleb Williams too, there have been so many times so far through 2 games where the Bears offense has been in third and short, and then Caleb Williams elects the Green Goblin wins, and he just launches that thing down the field. And he has not been accurate on passes of 15 yards or more. I don't think he's completed one, quite honestly. And it's not that's not the way to do it on third down. The way to do it on third down is to lean on your running backs, whether that is a handoff to DeAndre Swift or if that's a short pass to DeAndre Swift in the flat. Again, get him in space. That is where DeAndre Swift is good. He's a great pass catching back. That's why you brought him to Chicago. I didn't understand the Roschon Johnson healthy scratch type thing last week. I would like to think that Roschon Johnson is your most physical back, the one that can win between the tackles up front in those inside gaps. That he should be kind of your switch up back. I don't know why he's not in the lineup. There's Khalil Herbert has been in there too. I don't know. You have a running back room with a variety of skill sets. I need the Bears to start using it. And whether that coincides with heavier personnel, multiple backs on the field, use those 2 tight end sets that Shane Waldron is known for so much. But like, get DeAndre Swift involved. Let him be someone that Caleb Williams can rely on so that especially in those third and short situations, you're converting instead of going 3 and out.
I do agree with you that they definitely need him. Going back to kind of my point of who can help their quarterback a little bit more. Certainly, Swift is a plus factor in being able to do that. My plus factor here, I'm going to go with Leatu Latu, the rookie edge rusher for the Indianapolis Colts. You mentioned DeForest Buckner is out. It's not that Latu plays the exact same position that Buckner does, but you just need more production as a group. That's one of the best players that you've got on your defense overall that's not going to be in the lineup. And when you look at Latu, a little bit of a slow start to start this season, 1 pressure on 28 pass rushing snaps. Now he's going to get to go up against Darnell Wright, who's the right tackle for the Chicago Bears most of this game. 57.0 pass blocking grade, at least if they're lining him up on that side of the line of scrimmage. I suppose they could have him go up against Braxton Jones more, depending on where they want to put their veteran guys. But I think he'll have an opportunity, certainly when he goes up against Darnell Wright, simply because, the hand usage with Leatu Latu is the part that allowed him to be one of the most productive pass rushers in the country for UCLA over the last 2 years. And that part of his game still exists, and it hasn't really broken out for him yet in terms of tackles in the backfield, but I really do believe that's coming. I wonder if it's coming at some point this week. So